Welcome back, class. This is our spelling class for October 21st, 2020. You have your handout, chapter 9, and it's called Flight. So we're going to talk about, last week we talked about birds, and today we're going to talk about their special feature that only they can do, besides insects, of course. They're not vertebrates, but the only vertebrates the animal that can fly. Okay, make sure you write your name on your paper, please. I already put the date on there for you. The least you could do is put your name on your paper so I know which binder to file it in. All right, you should be, your book, your student textbook, you should be open to page 37 in your science book. And I, I always tend to cover a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot when I make my plan, but then when I really start to study it, I realize, that's a lot. So we may not get through the whole thing this science lesson, but let's see what we can do today and maybe we'll finish it up next week. All right. So I expect everyone to follow me in their reading. Okay. As you follow me while we're reading and we go back and answer the questions, you will see, you need to understand how we're reading, getting our information that is important to answer our questions, because that's what you're going to be doing when you go to Mr. Vaughn's class. You're going to be doing this on your own. So I'm helping you now, but as I'm helping you, watch how we do it and learn to do it. And when you feel like you can go off on your own and just fly away like a little bird, you're welcome to take off. You don't have to wait for um, Wednesday's science video to do your science lesson. Those of you guys who are older, who are 9 or 10 years old, you're welcome to go ahead. You can do this on Monday, and then you can watch the video and check yourself to see if you answered correctly. All right? So don't feel like you have to, you know, wait for me. If you know what you're doing, go ahead. If you're not sure, just pay attention, watch, and ask questions and learn. All right, so put your finger on the beginning of chapter 9. We're on chapter 37. It says, although some birds are flightless, flightless means, remember, less flight, take away the flight, that means they can't fly. Although some birds are flightless, most birds are designed for flight. To watch a bird soaring into the sky is a marvelous thing. For centuries, man sought to imitate birds, but only in the last 100 years or so has man truly begun to understand how perfectly designed the bird's body is for flight. The bird's body is designed perfectly for it to be able to fly. Now, only God could do that. We can't. Man has invented airplanes, and yes, we have airplanes and helicopters. But if you watch a bird in the sky, how they maneuver and how they turn, how they dive in the sky, you don't really see a lot of airplanes doing that, okay? We're able to stay up and come down safely is about all. Okay. Birds have very strong breast muscles. So in the front of them right here, their muscles are probably the strongest muscles in their whole entire body, because that's what they use the most. They use their wings. So these muscles are attached to their wings. Just like humans, our strongest muscle, besides our jaw, is probably our leg muscles, because most of what we do is walking. They have stiff backbones to withstand the force of flight. So the air, we don't live in a place where the air is very strong, but some places, I know, like Russia and maybe Chicago, the air is so strong, the wind is so strong, it can knock someone down. So if the wind is that strong and the bird has his wings out, it can push him back and break his wings. So they have stiff bones that don't move so the wind can't push them off, okay? The muscles help move the wings smoothly and efficiently, and birds also have a special respiratory system that allows them to breathe air through the lungs into a system of air sacs that extract, in other words, take out much more oxygen than any other animal's respiratory system can. Birds have hollow, that means empty spaces inside their bones, making them extremely light, so it's easier for them to lift up into the air. These and many other features are aid the bird in flying. So if we look at your paper, the first question asks you, what are some of the ways that birds are designed to flight? These are the things that only a bird has that other animals don't have, whether it's the fish or the cats or the horses. This is something special that God designed the bird a special way so that it could fly. So I'm going to show you. You should have already been, we just answered it. You should be able to look at what you just read, take the information and answer question number one. But for those of you who are new in my class, William, Josias, David, and Nathan, we take the information we read, we try to remember what we read, and we write it for answer. So I'm going to help you out this year. Next year, the rest of the class are going to try to write their own answers in their own words. So this is what I have. So spelling group 2 and 3, you should be trying to look at your book and answer the question without looking up here. After you write your answer, then check with mine and see if you've got the same answer. Okay, so birds are designed, they have special features. They have strong breast muscles. Let me make that bigger. They have stiff backbones. They have light bones, efficient respiratory system, and feathers and wings. Now, you need to write small or you're not going to have enough room on those 2.5 lines to write. So make sure you write small. In this class, you will no longer write big like you did in Miss Lorena's class. You're going to scale down the size of your writing. Specifically talking to spelling group number 1. All right. So if you need more time to answer your question, go ahead and pause your video right now because I'm going to move on. All right. The next question asks us, what are the 3 kinds of bird feathers? So birds have 3 kinds of feathers. Let's see what we can find out about the 3 different kinds of feathers. By far, the most important feature to help birds fly is the design of their wings and feathers. The wings are shaped like an airfoil, forcing air to flow more quickly over the wings instead of under the wings. This creates lower pressure over the wings, thus creating a lift. So when the bird has its wings out, it's designed in a way that makes the air go under instead of over. So when it goes under, it kind of lifts the bird up. Okay? Moving on to page 38. Birds have 3 kinds of feathers, each with a different function. Soft, fuzzy down feathers provided insulation near the bird's body. Over these are the contour. That means it has, next to the body, it has these little fluffy little feathers that are down, and on top of those, and it has other feathers on top of that called contour feathers that cover the bird's body. All contour feathers point toward the tail, making air flow smooth over the bird's body. Flight feathers give the wing the needed shape for flying. So on its wings, it's got flight feathers. On the body, it has contour feathers. On the wing, it has flight feathers, which give the wing the needed shape for flying. Feathers are designed with a hook and a barb system to help the feather maintain its shape. If a feather gets pulled apart, the bird can zip it up with its beak. This is called preening. So, in your book, you have the 3 different kinds of feathers in yellow or orange. That is what you're going to answer number 2 for A, B, and C. You're going to write down feathers, contour feathers, and flight feathers. And I'm not going to write that on the board for you because it's right there in front of you in your book. All right? That's the answer for number 2. Number 3, if you need more time, go ahead and pause. Number 3, how does a bird repair a feather that is pulled open? Okay, so you have a picture on the very top of your page. You have a pair of wings there, one with feathers. Actually, it's showing you the contour feathers, and if you were to pull those out, then underneath you see the down feathers, which are a lot fluffier. Below that, you have a picture of the two feathers. And below that, you have two squares that look like something going crisscross, like kind of like like crisscross. That is what a feather looks like. It's called a hook and barb system that holds the feather together. So you see those little hooks? So it's like weaved like this, and the feather doesn't come apart. If it happens to come apart, it won't go back together by itself. What the bird will do, I'm sure you've seen birds where they'll get their beak and they'll go like this with their beak, they'll pull it. They're closing those barbs back together again. All right. So how does a bird repair a feather that is pulled open? Okay. So how does a bird repair a feather that is pulled open? A bird can zip up its feathers back up, and it's called preening. It's right out of your book. The very first paragraph on page 38, it's the last sentence. If a feather gets pulled apart, the bird can zip it back up with its beak. This is called preening. Okay? All right, so what we're going to do is, since we're on the topic of feathers, you probably noticed I sent home a magnifying glass and a feather. Okay, so if you turn your page to the back, you're going to see a picture of all kinds of beautiful feathers. And there's some birds there. You see how the feathers change colors on different parts of their body. But on the bottom of yours, your picture is a lot smaller. You have a picture of a magnifying glass there. Okay, inside your magnifying glass, you're going to take your feather and you're going to put the magnifying glass up to your eye, and then you're going to take the feather and move it little by little closer and closer and closer until you're able to see. This is your feather, and it's actually made up of a whole bunch of little hairs going out like this. Okay, but with the magnifying, you can see these, all right? But with the magnifying glass, you're going to notice that each one of these has a whole bunch of little hairs going like this. Like this. Every single one of these does. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the barbs, which are the little hooks that hook. The barbs on these little hairs will hook with the barbs on these little hairs over there and keep the feathers together. Okay? So this is what I want you to draw inside your magnifying glass. I want you to draw maybe one or two of these. Just draw two of these, not the whole feather, and draw what you see. Now, if you're able to see a little barb, it's just going to be a little hook on there. I can't do it with this, it's too thick, but with your pencil, you'll be able to do that. So I just want you to take two of these and draw them in your magnifying glass, what you can see with your magnifying glass. I believe there's a couple of you who ended up with magnifying glasses that are probably glass, so be careful that you don't drop them on the floor and break them. So we were not able to finish this. So we will finish it, the other half of this lesson on next week, all right? So you can either keep it at home, but I do want you to do this part here, because on Friday, I do want you to bring your magnifying glasses back. So next week, you will not have your magnifying glass. Finish that part today, but you can keep your paper another week because we will do the same. We'll continue this lesson next week, right? So we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.